You're listening to the Hella Well with Danielle show, a podcast taking women of color on a journey exploring all things wellness and travel related. We're all about showing you how to put on your oxygen mask first and creating lasting self-care habits that will free you to travel the world and live the life you truly desire, and not one you have to fake loving. I'm your host, Danielle Washington. Now let's buckle up and start this journey. Hello, well, how you living today? Have you ever tried to use affirmations? Today is new moon in Leo, or if you follow the sidereal, it's a new moon in Cancer. And you always hear people talk about, you should use affirmations. It can help, you write down, I am abundant in everything that I do, or I am whatever. I've tried and it doesn't work. It's not even a low key, it doesn't work. I have tried, I'll write them down, I'll keep it with me, I'll meditate with them. And I'm still sitting here okay, when's this going to actually kind of start working? And I know I'm not alone in these situations. I know that I'm not the only one who has tried to use affirmations and just felt like a big failure. And the reason I want to do this podcast today, because it's you're not a failure. There's different ways to go about doing some affirmations, but also there's reasons why if you're doing it, it may not be working. I know people who use them. And so I do know this podcast episode isn't for everyone. There are people who use affirmations. It works beautifully. I wish I was y'all. Yes and no. I wish I was all, but what I'm going to give you also is information. It may work for those where affirmations do work for people, and this will definitely work for people who, I can't say definitely. This may work also for people who are like me, who have issues with doing affirmations. So some of the reasons why I feel like affirmations don't work is, let's keep it real. Sometimes we're just going through the motions. I think of that when I think about New Year's resolutions. Often people I'm going to be healthy, wealthy. I'm not going to smoke anymore. I'm going to exercise every day. Girl, bye. Most of us aren't doing half those things. But those are it's the same thing with affirmations. We say all these different affirmations and we say them. We're it's the new moon, or it's the full moon, or, it's just, I'm in a time of my life and it's time to start affirming my life. And I listened to something, Oprah says I need to do affirmations. So I'm doing affirmations, and you're going through the motions, writing it down. I'm like, okay, dun, da, da, da. Where's the miracle? Where's my manifestation? I'm confused. Why is it not here? So going through the motions is one reason why they aren't working. And I won't lie, I have gone through points where I'm just going through the motions. But I also feel another reason is that we feel like we're lying to ourselves. For so long, I had a problem with saying I am living abundantly. And I still struggle to some degree, but I really back in the day had a problem with even using the word abundant. I was money, because I had such a negative money story that I told myself, the story and this narrative that I had in my head. Every time I try to use the word abundant, I was just the negative story, the mindset that I had was sis, you are hella lying to yourself. You don't believe that, so why are you trying to affirm what you don't believe? And when you feel like you're lying to yourself, it is often hard to try to make something come true. And I'm not saying that, let me phrase that. What I am trying to say is, I'm a strong believer in you can change your changing your mindset, you can change your behaviors and your reality of your life. I do believe positive behaviors do lead to life changes. But if you feel like you were lying and saying some of these things, it may not work out the way you want it to work out. And that's something I've had to deal with, of reasons why affirmations hasn't always worked for me. Another thing is deep down inside, you don't want the affirmation to come true. This may not be for everyone, but think of something like you said, an affirmation I'm always treating my body as a temple. But you know, you love some pepper. Was it those? Because I just started eating them recently. You love those. What is it? The goldfish. I love the Parmesan goldfish, and you craving some ice cream or cookie dough, or you know, you don't always like to work out, and or all the different things that's not treating your body as a temple. So if you know that deep down you don't want to do all of the things that come with this affirmation, likelihood of the affirmation coming true, because again, you're internally fighting yourself. There's the affirmation, and then there's the thoughts that kind of go with that. It's like, I want to be the temple. I want to eat the food that I want. And they're like, let's get ready to rumble. Doesn't really work out. So that's another reason why I feel like affirmations don't always work. I also think there's a lot of us who are overachievers in this affirmation world, and we're like, let's just try to do 50 million affirmations. So we get up in the morning, we're gonna do affirmations. We get up and we start reading our 20 to 30 different affirmations that we're trying to read and understand and embody. It's really hard to embody 30 different new thoughts at the exact same time while also living your regular life and going through whatever goes to that. But we all try to do too much, or not all. When we try to do too much and try to add so many new things and all these different affirmations, the mind gets overwhelmed, your body gets overwhelmed, and failure. And I've done that. That's another reason why I know that it hasn't worked for me. But the other part that I think that we don't always talk about, and I've kind of mentioned it earlier, is our negative self-talk outweighs the affirmations. So I may say I am enough, but then throughout, like, I'll start the morning off, I'll do my meditation, and then I'll do it as a mantra. And I do believe in mantras, and that's a whole other thing. But like, you'll start off the day and like, I am enough. But then I spend the rest of the day telling myself why I'm not enough. Oh, you're too fat. You're too dark. You're too this. You're too, your hair is too that. And, you know, you aren't smart enough, and all the different ways that we will counteract that. And so when the negative self-talk, or what I love to call the inner mean girl, starts having her way and on a roll, it really outweighs this little lone affirmation that's trying to be like, but I'm here. But you're not, says the inner mean girl. And I've been doing some research because I, again, do believe that we can change our behaviors. By changing our behaviors and taking more control over our thoughts and how we speak, in terms of what we say and how we think, we can change how we show up in life, because it has worked for me. And in doing my research, I was realizing that there's a situation where there was a couple studies, but there was a study that was talking about declarative self-talk versus interrogative self-talk. And when you look at declarative self-talk, those are basically like affirmation and core values. I am worthy. I am abundant. I am whatever. So one of those type of things, like whatever, like making the self-statements. Whereas the interrogative self-talk is about asking questions. And in the study that I was reading about recently, it was saying that they did a study where they had people in different groups write down 20 times either I will I, or will. So they had 4 options. So I will was one option, will I was second option, I was a third option, and will was the fourth option. And guess which group did the best? If you're listening, you probably can already guess. The best group was the people who wrote will I. They actually did 2 times better than any of the other groups. And this is this has been done in other studies. And what they've really discovered is that asking ourselves is far more powerful than telling ourselves. I'm going to say it again in case someone in the back missed it. Asking ourselves is way more powerful than telling ourselves something. We want to create something new in our life. We want to create something that's going to be successful. We want to manifest. If you want to manifest, stop telling yourself and start asking yourself. And the reason that works is because you think about it. Questions are powerful. Questions help us probe into the different answers. They get us to start reminding us that, oh, there's all these resources at our hand. They activate that curiosity in our mind. And here's a perfect example. So think about it like something that here's an example. I'm just like, what can I think of example? Example I would use is you're nervous about going live on Instagram. And so the inner self-talk and the core belief that you may have. So this again goes to the declarative self-talk. And it's like the core belief you may have is, I'm horrible at going live. Like I always mess up. It's a hot mess. People jump off. It's horrible. That's the core belief or inner self-talk that you're having. You may be like, okay, I'm going to do an affirmation. This is going to work out for me. I'm going to click my heels, say my affirmation, and it's going to be amazing. And the affirmation you may use to kind of boost yourself up is, I'm an amazing public speaker. I am divinely guided to give a message that inspires others. And that's, again, still a declarative self-talk. And that's still telling yourself. So both of those situations, you're telling yourself something. But if you thought about it and you switched it up and tweaked it and then turned it into a question, like something like this, am I horrible at going live? Has it gone well? And automatically, I don't know if it happens to you, this automatically gets my mind to start thinking about, like, am I horrible at going live? I'm like, well, no, I'm not horrible. Like, I've been able to do it before and it's actually gone well. And I have these resources that can help me if I wanted to do better going live. And so your mind starts automatically, the unconscious mind starts using its creative juices and it starts telling you all the reasons why that this is going on, and it may get you to ask more questions. So again, that telling versus asking makes a huge difference, and it's a powerful strategy that I'm now utilizing, and I'm seeing the difference when I start asking questions versus telling myself things. And it helps you, not only does it kind of gets you start thinking, but it also acknowledges the negative narratives that we have and the thoughts and feelings that we may hold. I feel like sometimes when you start telling yourself things, again, it goes back to that if you feel it's a lie or you're having that inner struggle with the negative thought and the affirmation, one, it's starting to have this internal conflict where the negative thought is fighting for survival against the positive thought, and it actually shows up in your body. So it adds massive tension to the body. So you may feel it in many different ways. Again, I love always talking about the fact that how our emotions show up physically. That's part of the reason why I love doing Kundalini Yoga and having Reiki as a practice, because it helps flush out a lot of those negative emotions and those feelings that we have. And when you have the negative feelings and negative thoughts fighting for survival of the affirmations, the negative thoughts often win because they get a little stronger in this conflict, this inner conflict that you're having. And so that's why I feel like this using this strategy of asking questions versus telling is really powerful, because it helps to acknowledge the negative narratives that we have. It decreases the need to fight them. It's okay. It's like, if it's acknowledging, it's decreasing the need to fight them, but it also helps you become an ally with your unconscious mind instead of a foe, which you don't need to be, because that's when the tensions come into your body, because you're fighting, your thoughts are fighting. So you become an ally in partnership with your unconscious mind, which is hella creative, and it gets you to like blossom. And I feel like it's just a way that I found amazing. So how does this work? What you do is think of anything that you want to affirm. So whether it's positive or negative. So think of any self-statement that you would create. So example I'm going to use on this one is, I am enough. So that's what I'm using. So that's one. Think of a statement, a self-statement, and then shift it into a question. So if my statement is, I am enough, I'm shifting it into, am I enough? And allow the possibilities to flow. Allow your mind to answer the questions and ask other questions. So when I say, am I enough? Part of me automatically goes into, what if I was enough? What would that be like to be enough? And I start, again, allowing the flow of thoughts, allowing the creativity of the conscious mind to do its thing versus me saying, I am enough. And I'm now fighting the inner mean girl that's saying, girl, no, you're not. I'm fighting myself who's not doing anything to prove that I am enough. I'm fighting all the times that I may say I am enough, but all the different things I'm saying are outweighing that message. I'm fighting just the deep down thoughts that I don't want it to be true. That's not true, but those are, again, those reasons that we talked about earlier of why potentially it would not work out for you. And so I love asking questions. So that's what I'm doing this new moon. This new moon, I've saged the house. I have taken my spiritual bath, which I love doing. I'm still doing my 40-day sadhana, my meditation. I'm hanging out at the altar, and I am writing not affirmations. I am writing questions to myself to help me shift my mindset so I can get to a better place. And so I'm curious to see if anyone has done this before. I love to see if people are open to trying this. Try this for 40 days. That's what I'm doing. So from this new moon on to whatever 40 days is from today, I am literally writing out a question, and that's my question for the day. Am I enough? Wake up in the morning. Am I enough? Write that down. Am I enough? And then every time I ask myself a question, because I do question myself, and I don't know if it's just because I'm a curious person, when I ask myself a question, the thoughts are endless. When I say I am enough, I'm just like, okay, I heard you. We'll see if the universe agrees with that thought. So I love to hear from you guys, see if this works for you. And I also would like to invite you to an event that I'm co-hosting with Noela Star Queen, who is an amazing astrologer for Lionsgate. So we are hosting a 3-hour workshop where you can come learn about the historical, cultural, and astrological context of the Lionsgate portal, why it's important, what are the connections between ancient Africa, ancient India, and how it translates into the contemporary Caribbean, how it translates into your life, but also how to do something about it through using Kundalini Yoga. So I will be showing how to use Kundalini Yoga to connect with what you're learning through the astrology. So we're super excited to have you guys come join us. It will be on August 7th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I will also put a link to that in the notes. Other than that, I will see you guys next week. Ciao. Thanks for joining us this week on the Hello Well with Danielle show. Make sure to visit our website, hellowellwithdanielle.com, where you can subscribe to our show on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music and never miss an episode. Also, you can follow us on social media at Hello Well with Danielle on Facebook and Instagram, and Hello Well Danny on Twitter. And if you like hella love the show and got some good nuggets out of it, know that I'm not too proud to ask for you to please leave a rating or review on iTunes so that we can continue to expand our reach and help other women of color. Again, thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you next week. Ciao.